It's Tuesday. You know what that means. It's time for Ignition with the AEW Fan Hub podcast team. This is Kelson. How's everybody doing tonight?
Ugh, terrible.
Terrible.
I know. It's freezing.
It's you live in Florida. It's not
I
freezing.
know. It was 35 degrees this morning.
My heart bleeds for you.
What do you
35
expect to do down here in Orlando?
I'll send you the 15
jackets?
degrees it was for us.
Jeez.
What do you have, jackets here?
We actually got up to 20 today. It was kind of balmy. But anyway, let's talk some AEW, guys. The first topic that I'm going to talk about is one that I put on on all of our social media, and I asked the following question, and it's not coming up on the graphic. Oh boy. Let's see here. We are having all kinds of technical issues tonight.
It's the excitement of live broadcasting.
Well, I'm just going to go back to this graphic. I'm going to start that over again. The first thing we're going to talk about is something that I actually put on. Barry, you're making a whole ton of noise. I'm going to start over again. This is something that I put on the subreddit and the different social media networks, and that was to ask about specifically the TBS championship. Now we're going to talk about the TNT title, and we're going to talk about the main event situation, but I asked about the TBS championship, and the question that I asked was, who's next? Who's going to be the next person to hold the TBS championship? The results were really interesting because there's a lot of people were talking about names that we haven't seen in a while, like Riho and Hikaru Shida, Nyla Rose. But for the most part, it was Athena, Queen Aminata, and, Sky Blue. Then there were hundreds of responses, but those three really got the most. There were so many responses. What do you guys think? Who do you think should be next to hold the TBS title?
Megasis.
Oh, my answer.
Yeah, I gotta agree.
I mean, it seems like she's got the momentum, and the fans certainly seem ready to strap her up with something. But there's other good options too. But I think right now, Megan seems like the most logical. But when Amanada comes back, I mean, you got some sizable ladies that can really throw down. And Amanada's, she doesn't have the thickness some of the others do, but she is a tall lady as well. And I would love to see her tying it up, working some stiff matches in there too.
Yeah, that's I was going to say. Abanata's not the most muscular, I guess, is what you're probably trying to say.
She looks like a track star. She looks like a
yeah,
sprinter.
she does. She does. She looks like an athlete, an Olympic athlete.
Yeah,
not necessarily. Not necessarily in the weightlifting or power.
The field events class of track and field, where the Megan Baines maybe hammer throwing, shot putting stuff.
Yeah,
Power
but
yeah.
The thing about Aminata is that she's just such a good striker. She really is.
She utilizes the long limbs and her quickness really well. Like, it makes her an interesting matchup for someone like a Megan Bang. It's like Aminata can throw three, Megan throws one, and they're at a stalemate kind of deal. Just that back and forth where, you have power, I've got speed, let's see who wins.
Right. I mean, the only thing that I don't really like about Aminata, and this is nitpicky, is I absolutely hate the way she does her headbutt. And she does her headbutt every single match. It is so awful. I mean, the way
I thought you were going to say chocolate kisses, and I was like, come on, man.
No. Chocolate kisses is one of those things where the the wrestler who takes it looks stupid, but she does it fine. You know, but
It's a fun move.
it's a fun move, but it does look kind of preposterous. But the headbutt, I mean, she winds up and she slaps her thigh so obviously on every one. It's like that's not how you do. I mean, it is awful. It is awful.
So she got to work on that a little.
She's got to work on hiding the thigh slap and her thigh slap is loud. I don't know what she really. I mean, she winds up and she hits that thigh slap, and man, it sounds like a gunshot. I mean, she's gonna clear the arena one of these times. So
Yeah, there's some other fun options in there too. I think the TBS title division should be where some of the newer performers are too. So Megan's good in there. I'd love to see them keeping Zeta Steel when she kind of gets up to speed.
right,
Sky Blue, like is also mentioned, some of the folks that don't really have programs up on the top part of the card, that's where you can slot them in. Even Lena Cross when she starts going, that's who I want to see in that division.
Lena Cross was mentioned almost as many times as the other three that I
Yeah.
led it with.
I would have put Alex Windsor in there too, but she's in the tag division now. And that's, I think, one of the issues too is like some of the people I'd love to see. I don't like double champs either. I know I think Carlson, you said you don't either, but
I don't like
some
it either.
folks, yeah, I don't either.
I'm not a fan either.
But some of the people who I would have put in there are they're tag champs now or in the tag division. So.
Yeah, you know what's weird, Barry? You brought up Alex Windsor.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody, and I'm not that I saw on all the social medias, nobody said Alex Windsor.
I think because she's in the tag team with Jamie now.
But people are saying Riho and Hikaru Shida, Britt Baker.
Because they haven't been on TV. I think that's the thing.
Yeah, and they've not even been around, and yet they didn't mention Alex Windsor, who has been around. I have to ask. I have to ask this. We had the 4-way for the TBS Championship on Dynamite last week. It was Willow Nightingale, Marina Shafir. It was the 3Ms: Marina Shafir, Mina Shirakawa, and Megan Bain. Was anybody disappointed in the results of that match?
Do you want to keep caveats on that, or like what's the framing here?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
Sorry, are there caveats to that, or framing, or is it just like
no, just an honest question? I mean, I've said last week. I mean, on the podcast, I had said that. I think I've said it for the last 2 weeks. It's time for Willow Nightingale to lose the TBS Championship simply because, like Barry and Chris said earlier, I just nothing against Willow. I just don't like any wrestler in AEW holding 2 AEW belts. It's a waste. She needs to lose one.
And
Chris,
go ahead. Yeah, that's kind of where I am. Like, I'm kind of disappointed, not because Willow won. I love Willow. She is fantastic. She's wonderful. I love the Babes of Breath. They're a great team. But like you said, it's the double champion thing. I understand why she won it. It was great how she won it. It let Mercedes, go off and take a little bit of a break after a pretty intense schedule. Like, I don't think people realize she was doing a lot as well as AEW. Like, so it all worked for there. But yeah, it should be a shorter term run. It should be a shorter run. Drop it to a good heel. Megan Payne is my choice. Like, I think she's great. She can go on and kind of help build the division as a TV title. Like, I've said time and time again, that's how I want the TBS and TNT.
Right.
Yeah, I've said this a couple times, and I think others have mentioned it too. The mid card belts are the learning on the job belts. It's to see what this person looks like as a champion. And I enjoyed the 4-way. I didn't care for the finish. I don't have a problem with Willow retaining. I'm certain they're gonna they're going to move that belt off her soon. I didn't care for how they did the finish. I think there's better ways to do that. But I do notice something they're kind of building here with Willow, and there's some parallels in the main event seat, and that's the exhaustion of being a champion. And if that's going to kind of be the way AEW start telling these stories, I'm there for it. Willow has mentioned how hard it is, how many matches she's had in such a short period of time, setting up that inevitable. She just didn't have anything left because she's defended 8 times. Like, these champions eventually should lose because they can't keep it up. Constant challengers, bam, bam, bam. Like, MGF's got 5 people lined up. Willow's defending all the time. That's what I want to see. And that's kind of grounded in a little more real sports stuff. Like, a champion should lose because they're ground down, in addition to just losing to a superior opponent that day.
Right. Well, another thing that we saw on Saturday on Collision was the return of Thunder Rosa. She wrestled in what I thought was a really good match against
Yeah, she looked great.
Julia Hart. I thought they both looked great. They both played off each other really well. It was just a good match. What do you think about Thunder Rosa? Do you think that she's going to be in the TBS championship picture? Do you think that she's going to be in the world title picture? Or do you think that she may get herself a tag team partner and get into the tag team title picture?
Well, when it comes to Willow, I would rather see them lose the tag titles than the TBS title. I think she's a better TBS title holder than she is a tag title. As for Thunder, I'd like to see her in any of them because when she wrestles, she's so good and she does so well. It's just sad that she's been gone for so long and injured all the time.
Yeah, that's the thing that you have to be cautious about, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, but she has missed so much time due to injury. Do you work her back in slowly and not put her in a title picture at all for a while?
That's what I was going to mention is I think at this point, let's just get Rosa on TV. Let her get her reps. Let her get that rust off, get a little better into shape. I mean, she's typically a pretty small person. And, coming off an injury where you're not able to train and do everything you want, it's going to take time to get her back to where she wants to be in that confidence. I don't want to see her thrust into a title picture right off the bat. Let her build, let her cook a little bit, let the fans get back behind her and rebuild that reputation because she can get heat and she can get people behind her real quick when she's cooking.
Exactly.
All right, Chris, what do you have to say?
I think they're positioning her as a future world title contender, but yeah, it's going to be one of those deals where she's going to work her way back to that title match and shake off that rust, get back into peak, peak physical shape and ready for a title match slowly. Like, it's not going to be, oh, she's challenging your Revolution. No, it's going to be she's challenging, at All In or something, because they could do the build up, win the Owen run with her.
Yeah, I want to quickly go to the TNT Championship, which right now I think it is. I'm in my opinion, it's weaker than the TBS Championship right now. It's kind of lost its luster a little bit with. Well, look, Fletcher really elevated the championship. I don't think Briscoe did as much with the championship as he could have, and Ciampa just didn't have it that long enough to even have an opinion about him. But who do you think is contenders for the TNT title?
Well, easy one is Mike Bailey. Beat Fletcher in the Continental Classic. It gives, and Fletcher, that's the match Fletcher should win back. Gives him his win back, gives him a nice challenge. From there, I think it needs to be just him defending. Like, he wants to do that the most title defenses. He just missed out on it his last run, so that becomes his mission.
Right. He tied for it, right? But he couldn't break it.
Yeah.
He tied with Darby, I believe, right?
I think so.
Yeah, I think it was.
I'd have to look it up for sure, but that sounds right.
I'd like to see Kevin Knight get it. I've been a big fan of his. I think the tag team with Speedball is holding him back. I want to see him shine a little bit more. So whenever they wrap up the Jet Set Rodeo storyline and him and Bailey do some more tags, I'd love to see the two of them end up going for the title somehow. And then that's where I would turn Kevin Hart, or not Kevin Hart, Kevin Knight. I want to see him work heel a bit. Kevin Hart, he's busy.
Well, Kevin Hart can team with The Rock and go for the tag team title.
Yeah, that's what he's going to. There he is. The Rock.
Oh Lord.
And The Rock will look a lot like Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
Sutton, what do you think?
I don't know. The whole like you were talking earlier about how you want to see people get tired or lose the titles because they're worn down. I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that's going to happen on the men's side as much as it would on the women's side. And I don't like that idea. I think that's a little bit it just makes it weird. I would like to see maybe Shelton Benjamin get in the running for that. Even Bobby Lashley. I would love to see Bobby Lashley get a shot at the TBS or at the TNT title. I think that would be a hell of a match. But I don't know. There's so many.
But do those guys need the belt though? So,
They
I don't disagree with that. I'm just the TNT title should be building younger. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's not even about needing the belt. It's getting if you want to keep the belt on Fletcher and let him push it further, give him matches against guys like Shelton Benjamin. They don't have to win it. They can help put him over. A match between, to me, and I've said this before, and I'll say it forever. To me, Shelton Benjamin is one of the most talented guys that I've ever seen wrestle. And I've been watching. Me and Kelsey have been watching this thing for a long time, and he has always been one of my favorite wrestlers because he can go and just do so many things in the ring, and it's so amazing. I would love to see him go in and go up against Fletcher. I think that would be a hell of a battle, even if Shelton doesn't win it. Just push Fletcher to the ultimate level that he can get him to. And the same with Bobby. Bobby is a big guy and he can go. And I think that would be I'm getting kind of tired of seeing the same people going for those titles all the time.
Very, very, very good point. That's something that I was going to say. I really don't want to see, now that Fletcher is the TNT title holder, I don't want to see him going against Briscoe again. I don't want to see him going against even somebody like Darby. I do want to see him go against Mike Bailey and Kevin Knight, Ace Austin, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby Lashley. Again, they don't need to win the belt, but they can get in there and, have some scraps for it. Bring in Mystico, bring in Mascara Dorada. I want to see a variety.
Well, and something that I've been thinking about, which would be, it's going to depend on how they do this whole Don Callis thing. Because if you notice, they're drawing this whole Don Callis battle between each other out and out and out. I would like to see somebody from the Don Callis family maybe challenge him for the title.
Yeah. The only problem I have with that, Sutton, is that I'm worried that it's going to get to the point where it just seems like it's been done before. Don Callis family, Death Riders, we don't need to see that over and over again.
Well, to me, it's going to depend on how they play the Don Callis. Like the Takeshita, is he going to be in? Is he going to be out? When's he going to turn from the Don Callis? That kind of thing. It's going to depend on how the Don Callis family falls in that thing. Are they all? Is Takeshita going to be on his own? Is some of them going to go with Tim? Some of them go with the rest? And that's the thing that I think is holding that back. You've got the Don Callis family starting to resemble the NWO. There's so many of them that you know what I mean? You can't have that many guys and get them involved in everything that's going on, because then it becomes NWO style everything and it just becomes boring. I don't want to see that all the time.
Right. And
Yeah,
we're
it's
still
like
not talking about putting a woman in the Dunk House family because they're literally the only faction really that doesn't have a woman in it.
yeah, because right
Yeah.
now it's kind of like when are we gonna get Classic versus Wolfpack Don Callis family? Like it's
Why?
a
Yeah.
I don't think we
little
need that.
bit.
Well,
We don't need that at all. But it's I'm saying
Yeah.
we're at
yeah.
a point where
I
it's
don't think they're
becoming too
running any.
much.
Are we? I don't know if we are.
Well, look, I want to move on. We'll talk about the main event scene maybe next week because I don't want to spend the entire show on this because we did have something that happened on on Dynamite last
I,
week
I
where,
love this graphic, Kelson. This is great.
but you know, Swerve Strickland turned heel. And it's weird because some people that I've noticed on, you know, on the Reddit and on the Discord and whatnot have kind of said that that they don't believe that Swerve Strickland is heel. And I'm like, how do you guys feel? I mean, I think he's 100% heel.
He seems pretty
He
heel to me.
he attacked a man for no reason, and his reason for wanting to fight him is that he was out away because he almost died. He's always been a heel. He deserved to have his house burned down, and I hope all the bad things in life happen to him. And I mean that in kayfabe terms.
Yeah, I don't know how anybody cannot think Swerve's a heel. I understand leading up to this, there was some tweener stuff. Like you could see them planting the seeds, his aggression, his
Right.
anger, he the redemption arc that he went on with Hanger through All In. Like after All In, this has slowly been building. And when you beat somebody up post match, the biggest baby face like that, without any other like to your point, without any other motive there, like that's total heel work. Like he took Kenny Omega out. So I don't see any ambiguity left where the story goes. That's part of the ride, but I mean he made his bed, man.
Yeah, I want to break in here and just we've had some comments from the chat from Conrad from the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast. If you've never listened to them before, they do a podcast on Monday night before Raw. I believe it starts at 6 o'clock, right, Conrad? And about that time. And then right after Dynamite, they do another podcast. And you can listen to them on YouTube at EPW Show on YouTube. It is on your screen right now. If you're looking at it on your PC or watching on YouTube, you should see it. But it's at EPW Show. Please go listen to them. They are a lot of fun. I enjoy listening to them. I enjoy interacting with them. They have a lot of people in the chat. It's very lively. And just go and support our friends at EPW Show. Um, I'm sorry to take it off. One question I wanted to ask: do you see Hangman Adam Page joining Swerve Strickland in all this?
Hell no.
No, not against his buddy Kenny.
Yeah,
I would see Hanger coming back and going against Swerve again, which again will be something we've seen enough already. But I hope they stay. I hope they keep him away from it.
I I thought this was going to end up with the two of them as tag teams, as tag team champs at some point, and then that would be the split for their feud. But I don't really want to see. Let me be very careful here. I love watching those two guys wrestle. I think they're magic, but I think we need some more time before they butt heads again. So maybe Hanger's the final boss of Swerve's feud with the Elite, or whatever is left of the Elite. But I don't. I hope they don't rush that because we've seen it.
I want to see a match where Swerve Strickland has a tag team partner, if it's or it's a 3-way, whatever, and Hangman Adam Page is in it, and Hangman Adam Page assist Swerve, and they become a tag team and go on to win the tag team championships. I really do. I really want to see They don't have to be huggy and slapping, high fives and all that, but they need to be a team. They need to go and get the the tag team belts. They need to take the obviously they need to take the trios belt off of Jet Speed Rodeo or whatever the hell they call it, which I think is not very good. Uh, and there's Conrad joining us. How you doing, Conrad?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm sure you've been listening. We're talking about Swerve Strickland, and kind of just brought up the idea of maybe Swerve and Hangman forming an alliance and going for the tag team championships in AEW.
I really like that this week or last week's Dynamite, you were able to put intrigue on things that you were like, well, you know, Kenny probably won't be around for Revolution if people are, snooping around online and trying to figure that stuff out. But Swerve turns heel. You also had the Hangman Page and MJF stipulation scenario where it went from a match where I even said this on my own podcast where it was like, oh, it's Hangman and MJF again, to whoa, hold on. He's putting the title shot for the rest of his career on the line. I'm interested now. What could happen here? Because like you said, they could join up. Swerve could cost him to become the biggest heel in AEW. You could even have it. There's so many options.
Swerve could make it to where Hangman doesn't lose that match.
Mm-hmm.
What if he
You never
causes
know.
them to lose that match? What if Swerve causes Hanger to lose?
He'd be the most hated man for sure.
It would be the most
it would
hated man by
firmly
Hangman.
cement. It would firmly cement his heel status.
So Kelson, to your yin and yang tag team, so to speak. So it makes my vision, still happen, just differently. How is that just like a business arrangement where Hanger stays face and Swerve is heel, and we just kind of see the interesting dynamic of that, or how do you see that playing out?
I kind of see it like as a belt collector kind of thing. Maybe Hangman does get disqualified, technically does not lose the match, technically does not have to remove himself from the world championship. They could go, I don't know, it could be a time limit draw, whatever, when in his match with MJF. But my point is I think that Hangman and Swerve will go and get the tag team belts, and then they will go and team up and become a force in the world championship title reign. Also keep in mind that people had spotted Prince Nana holding a Mongol. I have to say the Mongol embassy for our friend Caleb instead of the Mogul embassy. The Mongol.
Mongol embassy. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we back in the day. I don't know if Sutton was around back then, but we had a podcaster named Caleb, really great guy, and he made a Freudian slip and called the Mongol embassy the Mongol embassy, and it just the whole podcast just fell apart.
That was that was the original.
It was the original Kafabe. It was so funny. It was.
That's sad.
We started making graphics with like Swerve Strickland leading a bunch of Mongols on horseback, and stuff. It was like the ultimate inside joke.
Swerve
Swerve
riding horseback would be terrifying. Like,
yes.
The one thing that we're kind of overlooking, and we talked about this a little earlier, but I think Hangman's going to lose this match, and I think he's going to turn in. That might set him down the road again. To if you're talking about those two teaming up, it either sets him on the path to the TNT title, or it sets him on the path of losing everything again and going back on the ways he was before he became a hero again. And maybe that's where he tags up with Swerve. Regardless of what happens, I think he's losing the match to MJF.
So, all right. Here's the thing, though, Sutton, and I'm interested to hear other people, and I've heard and I've read and tried to take in some opinions on this from outside of our space too. Hanger loses, he can't go for the title again. How do you fix that? That's what I can't figure out. He cannot be prohibited from getting the title. So down the line, does he have to fight to earn that right back in a stipulation
that's how you
match?
do it.
But then he's out of the title scene for how long?
Well, yeah, but you have the TNT title, you have the trios titles, you have the Continental title. You have, I mean, he could go for the Continental title. He could go for, there's like 50 titles that they have for the men, and he could go for all of them. I mean, it's not where he's out of a title hunt. He's just out of the world title. And it's, if they would have lost last summer, they both would have been out of it. Or not them, but it would when they went and Swerve and I can't think of his name. When they put their chances of being in the title hunt on the line with the my brain died again. But you know what I'm saying? They had that.
You're sick.
They had that right, exactly. They had that once before, and it to me it makes sense that if he's gonna make that offer, they're doing it to get him on the road to one of the other titles. I think him versus Fletcher would be a great run. To think about it, I think that would be one hell of a run because you'd have a really, really two of the top guys in the game right now in AEW going for a title, and it would be more powerful than anybody else at the time.
Maybe.
Hangman can chase being the first wrestler in AEW to hold every men's title.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
So he would need the Continental. He would need the International,
and the TNT, and the National.
So,
I am not
really.
really.
That can keep him busy for years.
I really have a
years.
hard time taking what is arguably your top babyface out of the main event scene in perpetuity.
But that's
you better have a really good creative plan. I really struggle to see the upside on that.
And look what it did. Look what it did to Cody Rhodes.
But Cody didn't want to be there.
Then
Cody did that to
here's
himself,
the bigger problem. You cannot put Hangman in main event scenes.
Right.
Because
you're right.
he's not a contender. So what's the point of having him with them at all? And I think that's...
You could put him in the own heart because he can't win it.
He can't win it.
Right.
Right, but
that would be casino battle royals, ladder matches.
Yeah.
He's out of all of that stuff.
But you can put him in the Continental Classic.
Yeah, let's let Conrad chime in here.
No, I was just, it's a good thing to think about too, though, because I think that's what ultimately did damage to Cody as well. Like, is there really a get out of jail free, or do you want your stipulations to mean something?
Right. And there's so much more involved, Conrad, now than back then too, right?
Yeah, like it's just completely different. And I kind of like that AEW sticks to their rules. Like, when you watch, you get invested in it, and no, that's it. He's not challenging for that title anymore. Unless they have a way creatively in 2 years to redeem it.
Well, and that's why I say you usually deal with him chasing after every title he hasn't held. If he can accomplish that, maybe it's like Tony Khan said, you know what? You want to re-earn your chance to challenge for the world title? Do this amazing thing. Become an absolute legend for this company. Be the main guy. By not, by making all these other titles mean even more.
This seems like a lot
comparing,
of to just
comparing Hanger to Cody. I think by the time Cody got around to that, he wanted to leave. I don't think he wanted to be in AEW anymore.
You think after a month?
I mean,
really early, man.
It was very early. I get that. If it happened later, I can understand your point. But that was a really weird choice.
Yeah, it was within the first month.
Yeah. To address Barry's question about what do you do with Hager to get him back into the world title scene, if he happens to lose this match against MJF, you put him in disguise. You put him in, long pants with fake tattoos on his chest, paint his face, and change his name. Change his name to Hanghausen.
Yeah. No, you get a beret, a pencil mustache, and a
Oh,
Matador's
don't
matador.
outfit. Oh
Gimmick
God,
change. He's Mr. Kafabe.
he's
That's it.
Mr. Kafabe. Oh God.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Well, look,
And when that
I
happens, Kelson, we're coming after you. You do realize
yes.
that, right?
Yep. I will totally. I do want to move on though because there's something that just happened. I think it was announced yesterday that I think is very interesting, and that is Ring of Honor is holding a show at 2:30 in the afternoon on Sunday. Uh, I can't remember what's the is it this weekend? I
It's still
think it
Yeah,
perfect.
is.
it's this weekend.
Then it's weekend, and they're kind of testing the waters. I mean, to see if I don't think they're going to be able to tape on Sunday every week simply because football
Mm-mm.
season's coming up, and there's no way Tony Khan's going to put ROH tapings against NFL football, but they tested the waters by doing these residencies in these smaller venues with AEW, with Hammerstein, Esports Stadium, even the old ECW arena. Uh, do you think that with all these new signings that have happened and the dual contracts with CMLL, possible dual contracts coming up with maybe New Japan, even Stardom, um, do you think that it's time that Ring of Honor gets its standalone show?
Yeah.
Is this what they're working toward?
Yeah.
Realistically, do you think it would be on TBS, TNT, HBO Max, or do you think it'll be something like True TV, YouTube? I certainly think they need to get away from Honor Club. I think that's where I'm going with this. I think they need to get away with
Hmm.
Honor from Honor Club.
Yeah, I think True TV is probably the right landing place for ROH because if they go TBS or TNT, it's probably going to be a late time slot, like maybe what Rampage got, maybe even later.
That is true.
Uh,
I did read where they were offered. I believe it was on True TV, a 10 o'clock time slot for Ring of Honor, and Tony Khan turned it down. And now they're doing like the Dynamite replays at that time
yeah,
on True
I think
TV.
he's
What?
I think he's really hoping for a either 8 Eastern, 7 Central, or at least 9 Eastern, 8
There-
Central
There's
time
a
slot. Like those extra hours are you know prime viewing.
there's a problem from a business standpoint here. I don't see the value of Ring of Honor on those spots on a major network. It's an unproven entity. Um, they have some draw on pay per view a little bit, but when I saw the TV station in Jacksonville they're going to tape this at, I think a lot of people have been asking for AEW Dark to come back. And I think this is going to be the equivalent. This is the AEW Dark Studio show. This is what they're going to be doing now, and it's going to be Ring of Honor. They'll tape there probably once a month. They'll do 5 hours. Or I don't know how long they'll tape, but they'll do 4 hour-long shows. That would be my guess. I don't think it's going to show up on any cable channels. If it's on a medium out of Honor Club, it'll either be a subscription service on YouTube or free on YouTube, or I could see it streaming only on Max, where it's on demand. I don't see where this fits
It
on a
could even
cable
be
channel
like
right
it
now.
could even be on Prime Video.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, you
Prime or
can. I mean,
something. But I
yeah.
see on-demand streaming
Yeah,
like AEW Dark was out of the gate. If it gets really popular, then it can get a TV deal. But you
well,
want to get this in
yeah,
front of as many people as possible right now.
yeah, I'd be fine with YouTube, Prime or Max. Not a YouTube subscription though.
Yeah, and you can keep
Well,
Honor
my
Club there
Max
for the
subscription.
pay-per-views. People, that's $10 a month, and you get their big shows or whatever. But
Right.
I'd get it on a streaming partner. Go ahead, Kelson. I think you want to
Yeah,
chime
no,
in.
yeah. I mean, they can keep Honor Club for the pay-per-views and also for the back catalog. Which,
Yeah,
to
for
be
sure.
honest with you, pay-per-views are great. The back catalog, I personally don't watch it. I don't know if anybody else here belongs to Honor Club and if they've gone back and watched the back catalog. Frankly, a lot of the people that are in the back catalog are either no longer with AEW or they're significantly older and not wrestling the same as they were back when they were on that, catalog. I mean, that catalog was pretty old. I mean, what didn't Ring of Honor just celebrate the
20?
20th anniversary
Yeah,
of
I
their
think so,
founding?
yeah.
Yeah, but look, I mean, with the
24th.
24th, I thank you because look, AEW and Ring of Honor really expanded their roster and they've done it smartly, in my opinion. They've gotten younger, they've gotten more athletic, they've gotten healthier. So they can put more wrestlers in Ring of Honor and get them work, much needed work. And Ring of Honor, I can understand, Barry, what you said about Ring of Honor being the equivalent maybe of AEW Dark. However, I think the matches need to be more meaningful, and they will be
Yeah,
because
yeah, for sure.
Ring
I
of
just
Honor
meant
has
studio show wise where we get that
right,
weekly. Yeah.
right. Ring of Honor has the titles that they have, which is that some of them are. I mean, Athena has made that women's title something. The men's title is Bandito, and pretty much everybody that came before Bandito, like two or three before him, they were good. So the least the main event, the main titles are really well done. The trios championship, the the television championships have lacked a little bit, as well as the pure championships. So they really need to work on building those back up again. But Ring of Honor, I think, could be a very good entity. I would say that Ring of Honor, should they get a deal on a channel similar to AMC, I think that Ring of Honor, based on just the star power that AEW has, could surpass TNA in their ratings. 230,000, I think, is very attainable. But, you have to wait and see. In the event that Ring of Honor does become a weekly show in Jacksonville, it's kind of hard to say when they would tape those shows, and would Tony Khan, if they taped the shows on a Sunday, Tony Khan would not be able to do those shows
They won't
because
need to tape on a Sunday.
well, it really depends on what type of
It's
if they stay in that arena
yeah.
and or that studio. It's actually called a studio. And if Tony Khan can't do it, who steps up? Bryan Danielson?
Yes,
Maybe.
I could
Yeah.
absolutely
I think so.
see Tony Khan saying, "Hey, this is, this is yours. Like, I'm still in charge, but I'm trusting you to make the best decisions, do what's right, and if there's really something I want to see happen, I'll tell you, but otherwise you got control. Go with what I've done, go with what I have set out, and then, work and do your own thing with it."
Right. Well, I think it's time that we move. Do you have something else to say, Barry?
I just think we're overthinking it, Kelson. I don't think it'll be a big deal. It's a public access radio, well, not public access, but it's a public TV station, so that studio is not on the demand that other areas might be. You can tape away weeks. Remember, they're taping multiple shows one day. The Jacksonville Jaguars aren't in town every week. They can easily tape on a Sunday if that's their day during a bye week or an away week and get a month or more worth of programming. They can tape during the week. I don't think it'll be logistically a big problem.
Yeah. Again, the thing that I'm talking about here is basically him setting up a residency, a permanent residency, and of course you could do mini residencies throughout the year if it gets popular. So it's just, it is what it is. But I do want to move on to our favorite segment of the show. It's a kafabe. Last week, our cover model was Eddie Kingston in a ballerina costume. And the week before that, wasn't it Julia Hart as a nun?
Yes.
I kind of felt bad. Those are a little disturbing. And I wanted to do something more lighthearted, more cute. And when you think of cute in AEW, what's the first name that comes to mind?
Eddie Kingston.
Well, I just used Eddie Kingston. I'm not going
Yuka
to use the same.
Sakazaki.
I mean, it's the answer. I don't know what you want me to say.
Sky Blue.
Yuka Sakazaki is good. Sky Blue is good, but I've used Sky Blue already.
Riho.
Maki
Nina.
I used
Maki,
Riho already. I'm
Willow.
going to give you a hint here. I'm going with a man. It's a male wrestler.
Daddy Magic.
Billy Gunn.
Billy Gunn is cute. Really?
Orange Cassidy.
I mean, hey, he was once. No, I was just about to say that.
Well,
Max
Go on.
Caster.
You guys are way off base because when it comes to a
Tungaloa.
male wrestler in AEW who is just cute as a button, you could only be talking about one wrestler. And that's Big Bill.
There he is.
Oh my god, he's so. You better hope he never sees
Yeah,
this.
if he sees this, Kelson, he's going to tear your arm off and beat you with it.
I have to.
I hope people understand. Like, there's no like logic. This is just random. Like, it's no. Like, there's no subtext or story behind this picture. It's just absurd.
I just gave a whole long story. I wanted to use the cutest male wrestler and make a
Baby
cute
Bill.
picture of him. For the people that are listening to this on our audio podcast and not able to see the picture, it's a picture of Big Bill wearing a baby blue blanket, a baby blue bonnet, and sucking on a baby blue pacifier. And
Baby Bill.
This
And
needs to be a
he's-
storyline.
he's adorable.
This has to be this is it, Kelson. He needs to get hit on the head on accident, and when he wakes up, he's Baby Bill. And every time he gets hit on the head, he reverses those personalities.
I would love for it to be. We were.
That was my initial pitch for the Tony
Babysitter.
Storm. That was my initial pitch for Tony Storm, by the way, between Timeless and Classic Tony Storm.
Remember when Big Bill had that absolutely wonderful match in Cardiff, Wales, where
Yeah,
no matter what he did, the crowd was behind him.
he just was the baby face. That's
Right. We were doing a live chat on the Reddit, and everybody loved the match, and they were like, Big Bill this, Big Bill that. Reddit gave us a warning for body shaping Bill. Called him big.
That's funny.
So I would love for him to be Baby Bill, so we won't get. I mean, is that offensive? Calling somebody Baby Bill? So but anyway, so it is. It's time for It's a Kafabe.
It's a kafabe.
It's a kafabe. Does anybody have a kafabe? What a kafabe is, it's kind of like a potpourri where we can talk about anything that's happening in not only AEW, but a brief thing about AEW, WWE, TNA, Stardom, wherever.
I got one.
Go ahead, Conrad.
I loved AEW Collision this week. I thought the finish to the show was fantastic. I heard so many people say, oh no, another eliminator match. Those guys never win. Well, there's new number one contenders for the tag titles. They also found a way to get old school heat where the Young Bucks' younger brother was in the crowd. Stokely throws powder, misses the dad's spitting on him at the same time. Cash is like, well, all else has failed. The dad, maybe he's not supposed to see, so I'm just going to shove the mom. The mom goes flying down, it was just old school wrestling. I'm like, what studio wrestling are we watching right now? People are getting attacked left and right, and then the younger brother gets pile driven. And I was like, that was sweet. I was like, that's wrestling.
Oh, it was like classic, like, oh God, what company? I can't remember,
It was a
the territory I'm
WCW kind
thinking
of thing,
of.
but it was done really well.
Yeah, it was like Memphis
Yeah,
or Mid South. Like
yeah,
it was
like
just it was
Memphis,
just a
Mid
classic.
South. That was
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely, it was those kind of like, you
It was
had
a
that
it was a
Georgia
territory.
Judy
Championship Wrestling.
it was
Yeah, I
a
mean, it
Judy
was.
Bagwell on a pole moment.
Yeah, it wasn't that. No.
It was great classic heat though. And
Yeah. No.
their younger
It's
brother did wrestle. So, he's not like
Yeah,
someone
I mean
that's hitting
you
to a
could tell
random person.
you could tell by when they got him up into that pile driver, he was in perfect position, and that's all on him.
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. No, it was good. When the Bucks are involved and you get FTR and you get some folks that want to have fun, they love just doing fun stuff because it's fun. And they don't take it too seriously, but seriously enough so it's not like cliche. And it just makes finishes fun. There's been a nice trend lately where they've gone off the air with some pretty big angles. And it's not always been like a serious story plot point, but it's been a big angle. And the eliminator win there and the brawl at the end was a really fun big angle. And it really juiced the end of that show because collision could be kind of but they've seemed to put a lot more effort into that show the last few months, and it's the ratings are going up and stabilizing, and I think it's starting to pay off for them.
Collision is definitely, for the sickos, as they say. I mean, it's definitely the more
It's the wrestling
wrestling-heavy
show. Yeah,
show,
yeah.
but it does a good job of continuing from Dynamite and also building its own stuff. Like, okay, are we going to see this happen? Are we going to see the resolution to this on Dynamite? Are we going to see it on Collision? Are we going to see more setup? It's done a good job of keeping both shows interesting and connected, but they still each have their own focus.
And it's the tag team show. Like there's so much tag team wrestling.
Yeah, and I love that.
Yeah.
I love a good tag match.
Yeah. Well, does anybody else have a kafabe? Thank you, Conrad.
I have one other thought tweet. I'm 93% sure it was MVP. He did a poll like, what is more important for like a top wrestler to have, mic skills or the work? And one of those where I picked work, but not necessarily work rate, more as in being able to keep a crowd entertained and engaged. Like, you don't have to have a 5-star match to be a great wrestler. You have to keep the crowd involved, entertained, and engaged.
No, I agree with you. I mean, you don't even have to have good mic skills. What you have to do is be able to emote while you're in the ring or, just engage with the crowd, whether it's heelish or babyface, just do it. And just become that person because some people are known for their promo work. Some people are known for their wrestling work. It's very, very few that are known for both. When you really think about it, it's very, very few that are known for both.
And I mean, you look historically, it's not always the greatest wrestlers, like the greatest, technicians or, the best high flyer in the world or the best submission artist. It's the ones who can do pretty much everything well or at least decent enough and keep the crowd involved, connect with them.
That's a fact. I was just listening to that podcast right before when I was at the gym earlier, and I thought it was an interesting conversation and back and forth they had about it.
Somebody asked Sean Ross Sapp in his Q&A about Britt Baker and her contract, and he mentioned it got kind of convoluted the way that his answer came out. And I actually talked to Sean Ross Sapp yesterday about this. And he was like, I don't understand how people can get confused by this. And I agree with him. But the problem is that people are aggregating him and what he said and doing a really poor job of aggregation. You know what I'm saying? They're like misquoting him. What he said, this is his exact quote. He said, and I'm going to say it the way he said it, and there's a lot of breaks in here, but so it doesn't make a lot of sense. But this is what he says. He said, so she could, this is not aggregatable, could be under contract well into 2027, maybe even I don't know. I mean, the guy's obviously stating his opinion, and
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's like I really don't know. This is what might be possible. Like,
right.
it's like I don't really know. None of us really know. Unless Tony Khan or Britt Baker comes up and says something specific about it. Right now, there ain't really any information.
Right,
Meltzer has this
exactly.
habit too. I think they need to get more comfortable noting when it's conjecture and just saying that. And he said it's not aggregatable, but like that doesn't mean anything. People don't understand that. Just say this is conjecture. This isn't me reporting. That's it. Say those 4 words or 5 words
Yeah,
or whatever, and
exactly.
you avoid the problem. Alvarez makes sure he does that in Wrestling Observer Live when he's going on one of his rants or whatever. He says, "I'm not reporting this."
I think people are going to twist
Yeah.
it no matter what, though,
Yeah, sure.
because they don't like Dave or whatever. Because I always tell people this: yeah, Dave was wrong, and I hear 1,000 people get upset about it. But I said, what about when he's right? Do you apologize? Oh
Exactly.
no, I
Like,
never see the
I just,
apology when it was like, oh, Dave was right all along. So I
yeah,
feel bad for him and Sean sometimes when that stuff happens too. I'm like, well, they were
yeah.
right.
Yeah,
Well,
I
you
think
put
just
me on the
Meltzer
part,
just does a lot of conjecture and just doesn't say it, and it comes across as him
right?
reporting. And
100%.
I don't know, and I think
I
that's the
think
stuff.
Sean Ross Sapp is really good at
Yeah, he's
two
great.
things. He's good at making sure that people know that this is just my opinion. That's literally what he says. And when Sean Ross Sapp gets it wrong, he's the first to say it didn't happen the way I thought it was going to happen.
Because if he gets it right, he says, "Ya boy, who first reported it? Ya boy."
Yeah, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, the thing I love about Sean Ross Sapp though is his debunkathon. He really
Yeah,
goes after, because like he goes after particular sites that like Ringside News. Ugh, don't even get me started on Ringside News. Uh, I've banned them from all of our subreddits because they just spam the hell out of us, and
they
they
literally
show
just make stuff up.
it's not even that they write these big long stories and have Wrestling Observer said this. They basically rewrite stories that somebody else has written. Now, we will report, and it's not really reporting, we will share reports from Wrestling Observer and from Fightful Select and from wherever,
Well, yeah,
but
but that's different.
we credit who actually said it, who actually reported it. And we say, and here's the link to where you could, here's the headline, here's the link where you can read the story. That's how you do it. You don't
Yeah.
rewrite what they said and then give them a credit at the end. That's to me is just pathetic.
It's
And
cheap.
misquote them the entire time. So it's weird. All right. Anybody else have a
yes, I
kafame?
got one. I got one. So I
Go
like
for it.
to watch wrestling shoot interviews on YouTube, and I like them because I like finding wrestlers that are good storytellers. And I've recently discovered Greg the Hammer Valentine, fantastic shoot interview. The guy tells stories just fantastic. Anyway, so I stumbled upon some Mark Henry shoot interviews. I think they're relatively recent. And he told a story. I don't know where the longer form is, but there's a bunch of clips out there. And the story is about a time early in his career where he had a lot of heat with the clique and threatened Shawn Michaels. And so there's a moment in there where I guess he was hurt or something, and they took his crutches, and Mark Mark was in there mad, and Sean said something to him, and Sean's like, "Are you threatening me?" Because Mark said, "This won't be a fight. I'll just kill you." And Mark's like, "Is that some kind of threat?" And just the way Mark Henry responds to Sean saying that, he's like, "It's not really a threat. That's just how it's going to be." And he just has that slow storyteller drawl. There's stories about him and Ron Simmons and just a bunch of other guys. So if you enjoy listening to good storytellers and you enjoy shooting interviews from smart people talking intelligently, put Mark Henry on the list. It's some good listens. He's got a couple interviews out there.
Are you saying that you want me to do a shoot interview?
I do, yeah.
Because I'm definitely a smart person.
I want to hear about your time as an agent.
Oh, that was really weird.
Hey, I can
That's a shoot,
the mask.
folks.
I can put my mask back on.
I will tell a brief story about my time as a federal agent.
Yes.
I was a federal agent I started during the first George Bush administration and through the entire Bill Clinton stuff. Now, of course, Bill Clinton was a little bit controversial, and there was some stuff going on, and with the federal government. So they decided, the government decided that in the Internal Revenue Service, they were going to facilitate ethics awareness workshops for all IRS service center employees. Now, I worked out of the Atlanta Service Center. Guess who was in charge of doing the facilitation of ethics awareness workshops for 4,900 IRS employees? This guy. Can you imagine me instructing? You can't teach ethics. That's why I use the word facilitating. Can you imagine me facilitating ethics to the Internal Revenue Service? Keep in mind that I got a picture that I did of Big Bill wearing a baby bonnet, a baby blue blanket, and a pacifier in his mouth. This is that's just one of the many stories. It was just it was a very stressful job. Let me put it that way.
It's true though. He's told
Kelson,
this story before. I've heard
Kelson
it.
helped take down the Russian mob in Miami. He did.
Oh, okay. We're gonna have to hear that
90s.
story next.
True
week.
story. Look up when the time frame when the Russian mob in South Florida was taken down, and you cross-reference that with when Kelson said he worked for the Treasury Department.
I did not have anything to do. Matter of fact, I honestly can't remember. I know I had South Carolina and Georgia. I don't think, because there was, at the time, I believe there was 17 service centers in the United States. So, there were different service centers. So
well, in kayfabe, that's your backstory.
Yeah. It was just something. And another brief thing is I also met my wife there. So my ex-wife.
Oh, I was gonna say so good and bad, but just bad.
Yeah. No.
Well, who do you think was this person on the inside of that sting against the Russian mafia in South Florida?
I was too busy facilitating ethics awareness workshops to worry about that kind of thing.
This shit writes itself, guys.
I would watch that movie. Oh,
I basically got up in front of we did it like in classrooms, like 30 people in a class, and it was one day, ethics in one day by Kelson.
No, the Russian mob takes it.
No, but I'm saying but in this we did it in one day. 30. Remember, it was 4,900 people that I had to do this for. We did it 30 at a time. Right. I basically got up in front of the class and did a stand-up routine for the entire time. It's just I just told jokes and people gave me like 5-star ratings. Meltzer gave me a 5-star rating. Anybody else with a kafabe?
I can do the usual quick New Japan roundup.
Go for it.
We are smack in the middle of Fantastica Mania. Show earlier this morning, the finals of the little tag tournament they've been doing. I'm not going to reveal who won, but it was a very good match. One of my top 3 for the show. 2 more shows on the 26th and 27th at Korakuen, and then New Beginning USA on the 27th as well that night with some pretty big matches. Uh, Yota Tsuji, Andrade El Idolo for the global title, Shuri versus Athena for the IWGP Women's, Knockout Brothers versus Gates of Agony for the IWGP Tag, El Phantasmo Konosuke Takeshita for the World TV, and the match I think is going to steal the show, Taiji Ishimori versus Ricochet for the AEW National Championship. And this is Ricochet's 8th defense of the championship.
Oh, and TNT title world, that means he's up shit's creek without a paddle.
Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see. And
I hope Jack Perry screws him out of that belt.
I think Ishimori winning would open up a lot of fun.
Holds an AEW belt.
And with the New Japan Cup coming up, that's a heavyweight tournament. Ishimori might be involved in some tag matches, but it would be a good opportunity for him to come over for, the next month or so. Defend that title, have a nice little U.S. run, drop it to someone good, go back to Japan for Best of the Super Juniors.
Well, I have one last thing, one last Kafabe. We have Stardom just announced their 32 participants in their 2026 Cinderella tournament. The winner of the Cinderella tournament gets to make a wish. And usually the wish is they can go for the World of Stardom Championship or the Wonder of Stardom Championship. World of Stardom is the Stardom World Championship. Wonder of Stardom is kind of like the AWTNT Championship, I guess, or the Continental. It's a big championship. That started in 2015. They do it yearly. Prior winners have been names that you would know. Tony Storm has won it. Julia has won it. Generally speaking, the winners of this have been younger than their 5-star Grand Prix winners. But did I say Grand Prix? I meant Grand Prix. Grand Prix is good too. Yeah. But anyway, it's fun. It starts on when does it start? I believe it starts like on March 8th or March 5th. And it's just fun. It's a 3-night tournament with 32. So these women wrestle multiple matches a night. It's just a 3-night tournament. So it's fun. It's not long and drawn out. It starts and you get the winner a week later, basically. So it's a single elimination tournament. And that's it.
Sounds like one.
All right. Anybody else have a Kafabi before we wrap this up for tonight? All right, then. Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for showing up, guys, and hope you had a good time talking about AEW and everything else that goes to it. My sincere apologies to Big Bill. I can't even look at the screen. He's just so cute. You, he's just so cute.
It'd be a good gimmick.
It would be a good gimmick.
Can make it work.
Yeah.
Got ideas. DM me, Tony. I can write it.
There you go. But remember, I get the royalties because it's my idea.
You do.
But anyway.
Based on a story by Kelson is the credit.
Based on a story by Kelson. This is right. I know people.
That's what that credit means, actually, is when you're... Never mind. I won't go into it. We will be back Tuesday night, 8:45 Eastern Time, for our next episode of Ignition. Again, thank you guys for the AEW Fan Hub podcast team and Conrad from the Everything Pro Wrestling podcast. Again, that's at EPW Show on YouTube. Good night, everybody. Good night, Eddie Kingston.
Night, Eddie.
Good night.
Peace.